Silver is often discussed as a scarce physical metal, but its price is determined elsewhere. To understand silver's behavior, you have to understand the structure that actually sets its price. Understanding how silver is priced matters because the gap between perception and mechanism has widened. Silver is frequently discussed in terms of physical scarcity, industrial demand, or long-term monetary value. Yet its price behavior often appears disconnected from those themes. This disconnect is not new, but it becomes more consequential during periods when market participation increases and narratives intensify. In the current environment, silver is attracting attention from multiple directions at once. Industrial use links it to economic cycles, while its monetary history ties it to inflation concerns, currency stability, and broader financial stress. These overlapping narratives create the expectation that price should respond directly and consistently to macro developments or physical demand signals. When price does not respond as expected, confusion follows. The confusion leads many participants to misdiagnose cause and effect. Price weakness is often attributed to hidden forces or abstract explanations, while price strength is framed as validation of a narrative that may have existed long before the move. In reality, most short and medium-term price behavior has little to do with changes in silver SOS physical availability or long-term value proposition. It has much more to do with how risk is positioned and managed in the paper market. This distinction is especially important because silver trades as a leveraged financial asset long before it trades as a physical commodity. Futures, options, and unallocated exposures dominate daily volume and determine marginal pricing. These markets respond to risk constraints, margin requirements, and volatility far faster than physical supply chains can adjust. Without understanding this, price action can appear erratic or even irrational. Another reason this topic matters now is that periods of heightened attention tend to coincide with crowded positioning. When more participants focus on silver for similar reasons, structural fragility increases. The market becomes more sensitive to relatively small changes in price or volatility because leverage amplifies responses. In those conditions, misunderstanding the pricing mechanism increases the likelihood of poor timing and misaligned expectations. Clarity around pricing mechanics also helps separate long-term discussions from short-term decisions. It is possible to view silver as undervalued over a multi-year horizon while still recognizing that near-term price behavior is governed by positioning and risk management. These perspectives are not contradictory, but they operate on different timescales. Failing to separate them often leads to frustration and inconsistent decision-making. Finally, understanding how silver is priced provides a more disciplined way to interpret uncertainty. It does not eliminate risk or guarantee outcomes, but it replaces reactive thinking with structural observation. Instead of asking why silver should be moving, the focus shifts to why participants are positioned the way they are and what conditions might force them to adjust. In that sense, this topic matters now because it offers a framework for understanding silver as it actually trades, not as it is commonly described. This analysis uses three lenses. First, price structure, which examines how silver trades within ranges, trends, and volatility regimes. Second, positioning, which focuses on how speculative and commercial participants are aligned and where risk is concentrated. Third, macro context, which provides the background conditions that influence leverage and risk tolerance without dictating direction. Silver's price is discovered primarily in the paper market, not through physical transactions. The vast majority of daily trading volume occurs in futures, options, and unallocated contracts, where participants exchange exposure rather than metal. These instruments are highly liquid, leveraged, and designed for financial settlement, which means they dominate price formation. In the futures market, most contracts are never delivered into physical silver. They are opened and closed based on price movement, margin requirements, and risk limits. Because these positions are leveraged, relatively small changes in price can force participants to act. That forced activity, rather than changes in physical supply, is what moves price at the margin. Physical silver markets operate on a different timescale. Fabrication demand, mine supply, and inventory levels adjust slowly and with friction. These factors influence long-term valuation and sentiment, but they do not reprice instantaneously. When price moves sharply over days or weeks, it is responding to financial flows, not to changes in refinery output or industrial demand. This structure explains why silver can fall during periods of strong physical buying or rise when physical availability appears ample. The paper market reacts to positioning imbalances, volatility, and macro risk conditions long before physical signals register. Physical tightness may matter later, particularly if it begins to affect delivery behavior, but it does not initiate most moves. Understanding that silver is priced in the paper market reframes how price action should be interpreted. Instead of asking what changed in supply or demand, the more relevant question becomes who is positioned, who is leveraged, and who may be forced to reduce or add exposure. That shift in perspective is foundational to analyzing silver without relying on narratives that explain value but not timing. Physical supply and demand play a meaningful role in how silver is valued over long horizons, but they do not determine when price moves. Mine production, recycling flows, industrial usage, and investment demand evolve gradually. These factors shape expectations about scarcity or abundance, yet they operate too slowly to explain most short-term price behavior. Silver's physical market is constrained by logistics, contracts, and production cycles. Mines cannot rapidly adjust output in response to price, and industrial users typically secure supply through long-term agreements. As a result, changes in physical conditions tend to lag price rather than lead it. When physical tightness becomes visible, price has often already moved in anticipation through the paper market. This timing mismatch is critical. Market participants often expect strong physical demand to translate immediately into higher prices. When that does not occur, it is interpreted as a failure of the market or evidence of distortion. In reality, price is responding to financial positioning, while physical demand is expressing itself through inventory drawdowns or premiums that do not immediately affect futures pricing. Physical supply becomes relevant to price only when it begins to interfere with paper market mechanics. This can occur if delivery constraints increase the cost of maintaining short positions, or if inventory levels influence contract settlement behavior. Until those thresholds are reached, physical conditions remain a background influence rather than a direct driver. Recognizing that physical supply influences value but not timing allows for clearer analysis. It separates the question of whether silver is scarce from the question of why price is moving today. By making that distinction, price action can be evaluated without dismissing physical fundamentals, while avoiding the expectation that they should dictate short-term market behavior. Positioning is the primary determinant of how fragile or resilient the silver market is at any given time. Price does not move simply because participants have opinions. It moves when existing positions become unsustainable. The greater the concentration of exposure on one side of the market, the more sensitive price becomes to relatively small changes. When speculative positioning is light, price fluctuations tend to be contained. There are fewer leveraged positions at risk, and moves are more likely to be absorbed without triggering forced behavior. In contrast, when positioning becomes crowded, particularly on the long side, price stability depends on those participants maintaining confidence in margin capacity. Any disruption increases vulnerability. Crowded positioning creates asymmetry. Upside progress requires new buyers, while downside moves can accelerate quickly as existing holders reduce exposure. This dynamic explains why silver often struggles to advance when speculative length is elevated, even in supportive macro or physical conditions. The market becomes dependent on continued participation rather than new information. The same logic applies to short positioning. When short exposure is concentrated and price begins to rise, risk limits and margin requirements can force covering. This forced buying can drive rapid price advances that appear disconnected from fundamentals. Again, the catalyst is structural pressure, not a sudden reassessment of value. Positioning data, whether observed directly or inferred through price behavior, provides insight into where risk resides. It highlights who is exposed, who is comfortable, and who may be compelled to act. Understanding this vulnerability is essential because it frames price movement as a response to balance sheet constraints, rather than as a reaction to headlines. In silver, positioning does not predict direction, but it defines the conditions under which direction can change abruptly. Volatility in the silver market is not simply a measure of uncertainty. It is often a signal that forced behavior is taking place. In leveraged markets, volatility and obligation are closely linked. When price movement accelerates, margin requirements rise, option hedges adjust, and risk managers intervene. These responses are mechanical, not discretionary. Periods of low volatility tend to coincide with stable positioning. Participants are comfortable carrying exposure, margin usage is predictable, and hedging flows are relatively muted. In these conditions, price often trades within well-defined ranges. Volatility does not disappear, but it remains contained because positions are not under stress. Volatility expansion usually indicates that this balance has been disrupted. A relatively modest price move can trigger stop losses, margin calls, or delta hedging activity. As these forced actions occur, they amplify price movement, which in turn increases volatility further. This feedback loop can persist until positions are reduced and risk is redistributed. In silver, volatility spikes frequently occur without a clear fundamental catalyst. This leads to post hoc explanations that attribute the move to news or macro developments. In reality, volatility is often responding to internal market dynamics, particularly the interaction between leverage and positioning. Understanding volatility as a structural signal changes how it is interpreted. Instead of viewing volatility as random or purely emotional, it becomes a diagnostic tool. Rising volatility suggests that participants are no longer in control of their exposure. Falling volatility suggests that risk has been absorbed and obligations have been resolved. In this way, volatility does not explain why silver should move, but it reveals when the market is being driven by forced behavior rather than voluntary decision-making. Macro conditions influence how silver trades by shaping the amount of leverage market participants are willing and able to carry. Interest rates, liquidity availability, currency stability, and broader risk sentiment all affect risk tolerance. What they do not do, on their own, is determine the direction of silver's price. When financial conditions are loose, leverage tends to increase. Lower funding costs and abundant liquidity make it easier for participants to hold larger positions with less immediate pressure. In these environments, silver can sustain extended ranges or gradual advances because positions are not being actively challenged by margin constraints. However, this does not guarantee upward movement. It simply allows positioning to persist. When financial conditions tighten, leverage becomes more costly, margin requirements rise, volatility is less easily absorbed, and risk managers become more restrictive. This often leads to position reduction across asset classes, including silver. Importantly, this behavior reflects balance sheet management rather than a reassessment of silver's intrinsic value. Macro inputs therefore act as a background filter. They influence how quickly positioning builds and how violently it must unwind when stressed. The same macro environment can produce very different price outcomes depending on how the silver market is positioned at the time. A supportive macro backdrop with crowded positioning can still result in price weakness, while a challenging macro environment with light positioning can still support sharp rallies. Viewing macro conditions through the lens of leverage rather than direction provides analytical discipline. It prevents over-reliance on broad economic narratives and keeps the focus on how those narratives translate into risk-taking behavior. In silver, macro sets the constraints, but structure and positioning determine how price responds within them. Silver est any ORIAS. Most significant price movements occur when market participants are compelled to act rather than when they choose to. The silver market is dominated by leveraged instruments, and leverage introduces obligation. And when obligations are triggered, price responds quickly and often disproportionately to the initial catalyst. Understanding these mechanics is essential to interpreting why silver moves the way it does. The primary arena for these mechanics is the futures market. Futures contracts allow participants to control large amounts of silver exposure with relatively small amounts of capital. This leverage magnifies gains, but it also magnifies losses. When price moves against a position, margin requirements increase. If additional capital is not posted, positions must be reduced. This reduction is not optional. It is enforced by clearing firms and exchanges. Speculative traders are often the first forced actors. They typically operate with tighter risk limits and higher leverage. When price moves through key technical levels or volatility increases, stop losses are triggered and margin usage rises. This leads to selling that is driven by risk management rather than a change in outlook. The same dynamic applies in reverse when short positions are pressured and covering becomes mandatory. Commercial participants, while often less leveraged, are not immune to structural pressure. Hedgers may adjust exposure as price volatility alters hedge effectiveness or balance sheet requirements. These adjustments can add to directional pressure, even though the intent is risk reduction rather than speculation. Options markets introduce another layer of mechanical behavior. Dealers who sell options must hedge their exposure dynamically. As price moves and volatility changes, delta and gamma hedging flows can require dealers to buy or sell futures in response. These hedging flows can accelerate price movement, particularly when options positioning is concentrated near current price levels. What ties these participants together is that their actions are dictated by rules, not opinions. Margin thresholds, risk limits, and hedging formulas operate automatically. When several of these mechanisms activate simultaneously, price movement can become rapid and self-reinforcing. Importantly, these mechanics operate independently of physical silver demand. A surge in selling does not imply that physical holders are exiting or that industrial demand has collapsed. It reflects financial participants reducing exposure under constraint. Conversely, sharp rallies can occur without any immediate increase in physical buying. Market mechanics also explain why silver often stabilizes abruptly after periods of stress. Once forced selling or covering has run its course, obligations are resolved and volatility subsides. At that point, price may return to a more orderly pattern, even though underlying narratives remain unchanged. By focusing on who is forced to act and under what conditions, silver price behavior becomes more intelligible. The market is not reacting emotionally, it is responding structurally. Recognizing this shifts analysis away from surface explanations and toward the underlying mechanisms that consistently drive price movement. Silver's price behavior has displayed consistent structural patterns across multiple market cycles, regardless of the prevailing economic narrative. While the stories surrounding silver have changed over time, ranging from industrial growth to monetary hedging, the mechanics governing price movement have remained largely intact. This consistency allows historical behavior to serve as validation of structure rather than as a basis for prediction. Historically, silver has spent long periods trading within defined ranges. During these phases, volatility tends to compress and attention gradually fades. These conditions allow leverage to build quietly as participants become comfortable carrying exposure in a stable environment. Importantly, these range-bound periods are not signs of inactivity. They are phases where structural pressure accumulates. When silver eventually exits these ranges, the move is often abrupt. Breakouts and breakdowns alike have tended to coincide with sharp changes in positioning and volatility rather than with sudden shifts in physical fundamentals. In past cycles, large price advances were frequently driven by short covering or rapid speculative inflows after extended periods of subdued interest. The speed of these moves reflected the urgency of position adjustment, not a gradual reassessment of value. Similarly, significant declines have followed periods of optimism and crowded positioning. In those instances, price stalled or reversed before any clear deterioration in physical demand was visible. The subsequent selling was driven by margin pressure, volatility expansion, and risk reduction. Physical explanations often emerged after the fact, but they did not align with the timing of the move. Another recurring historical feature is the tendency for silver to overshoot in both directions once forced behavior begins. Because leverage amplifies reactions, price can travel further than fundamentals alone would justify before stabilizing. These overshoots resolve only after positions are reduced and risk is redistributed across the market. Over time, physical conditions have mattered most when they intersected with paper market mechanics. Periods where inventory levels influenced delivery behavior or settlement costs have coincided with heightened sensitivity in price. Even then, the catalyst remained structural, with physical constraints acting as an accelerant rather than a primary driver. The value of historical validation lies in recognizing repetition without expectation. Past cycles demonstrate that silver's most consequential moves emerge from familiar configurations of range building, leverage accumulation, and forced adjustment. The narratives differ, but the structure does not. By understanding this, current price behavior can be evaluated within a broader context that emphasizes mechanism over storyline, reinforcing discipline rather than encouraging extrapolation. If silver holds within established ranges while positioning remains balanced and volatility contained, price movements would likely be driven by incremental shifts in risk appetite rather than forced selling or covering. If silver fails to hold key structural levels while speculative exposure remains elevated, margin pressure and risk reduction could dominate price behavior until positioning normalizes. Focus on how price behaves near prior range boundaries, whether positioning expands or contracts relative to price movement, and how volatility responds to small directional changes. These factors reveal structure before narratives emerge. A disciplined understanding of silver comes from observing structure, not reacting to stories. Continue studying how price, positioning, and volatility interact, and use that framework to interpret silver with clarity rather than conviction.